Today's topic is total probability theorem, TPT. What it says, let's see. First statement we'll see. Like structure wise, if I'll say, let's say any sample space is S, and the sample space we are going to divide by the events E1, E2, E3 in this way, dot, like events, some event will be like ek type event, and it is keep going, like let's say n events total we are having, or the number of event given, let's say n events, and the events are mutually exclusive, means there is no intersection between any two events, and it is exhaustive events also, meaning what? Meaning E1 union E2 union E3 dot union En, it should be equal to total sample space, means exhaustive, means exhaustive events. Exclusive means mutually exclusive, means EI intersection EJ equals to phi. Exclusive events. Mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive events. Dear student, it says, like if we are taking E1, E2, E3 dot En as n mutually exclusive and exhaustive events, and one event we are going to define which is going to occur through E1, E2, E3, Ek, En, meaning what? When these events are happening, then one event we are going to define, that is the name by E, and it is happening through E1, E2, E3 and dot Ek and En. Then we need to find the probability of this event E. Then probability of event E. Probability of event E. You try to think what should we write here. Probability of event E, you will say, sir, its a probability is under E1 somewhat and with something E2, means shall I say its probability of E is with the intersection E1 plus with the intersection what? E2 plus with E3 intersection whatever the probability of E plus dot up to En, means shall I write it is equal to probability of E intersection E1, it's a sum part with E1 common, plus probability of E intersection E2 plus probability of E intersection E3 plus dot plus probability of E intersection En. You know that conditional probability what says probability of E when already ER has occurred equal to probability of E intersection ER divided by probability of ER. So from here shall I say that probability of E intersection ER is equal to probability of ER into probability of E by E when ER already occurred, or E by ER. Okay. So from here shall I write the each probabilities like in this format. It is also called multiplication theorem or multiplication rule. Probability of E, we can write this probability of E intersection E1 as probability of E1 into probability of E when already E1 occurred, plus probability of E2 when into probability of E when already E2 occurred, and plus dot probability of En when into probability of E when already En occurred. You think like we are finding the probability of E through all the paths E1, E2, E3, and we are making the sum of this one. Correct? Means what is the here what we are getting probability of E1 into probability of E when through E1, we can say through E1, probability of E through E1. So in compact form we can write this implies probability of E is equal to summation probability of ER into probability of E when already ER has occurred from R equals to 1 to N. So this formula or this statement what we are getting probability of E, this is the total probability of E that is occurring through E1, through E2, through E3 dot dot through En. So we can write here probability of E what we have written, that is probability of E1. What is the meaning of this one? Probability, we can say probability of probability or probability that path 1 used, let's say even I am saying 1, path 1 used into probability of E when already E1 occurred. What will say this one? That probability of E when path E1 used or through E1. Okay, so probability of E through path E1, through path E1. Okay, similarly probability of E2 means probability that path 2 used into probability of E when through the path E1 plus dot 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 probability of En means probability when path n used into probability of E through path E1. What is the meaning, dear student? That when you are writing total probability, then some events will be given to you. After that, they will say that this event will occur when some conditions will be given, some other condition, or will some other one event will be defined. They will say this E1 E occurs through this event, through E2 events, through E3 event, through EK events, and then we'll find the probability of the event using this formula. What we need to do? What we need to do in this one? First of all, we need to find the path probability through the path 1 into probability of the event through E1, meaning conditional probability. You know how to find this one. Plus in this way we will go up to as many partitions of the sample space or as many events will be given for the sample space. I hope so clear. We'll take a question. Let's see. Question is saying box 1 contains 3 red and 6 blue balls. So I'll name like this one. Box 1, it contains 3 red and 6 blue balls, and box 2 contains 5 red and 4 blue balls. 5 red, 4 blue balls. A pair coin is tossed. Meaning what, dear student? One box given here and one another box here given. Okay. After that they are saying they are going to define some event. What? A fair coin is tossed. If it turns up head, a ball is drawn from box 1. Means what? You need to select the box 1 if you are tossing a coin and you are getting head. A ball is drawn from the box 1, okay, else a ball is drawn from box 2. Means what? If it turns, let's say tail, correct, then you need to draw the ball from box 2. Find the probability that ball drawn is red. So now you think this problem like two boxes are in front of you and a coin is there. Okay, you are tossing the coin means you are performing the event. If you are getting the, you are tossing and it turns up head means event even, you are saying that if you are getting head, probability of getting head on tossing a coin, that will be 1 by 2. Then you will be choosing the ball from the box 1. It is saying a ball is drawn from box 1, meaning what, it is event even if going to occur. Event even, through the event even, through the event even, what you want to do, you want to perform your event, what, to find the, to find what, to find ball, correct on, probability of the, probability of the uh, ball which drawn is red, correct, that is the event. It is okay. So even can you say that like you're finding, you're turning the coin, you're tossing the coin, that event is 1 by 2 if it is, it comes head, and path 2 means e2, probability of e2, if it is getting tail, then you will be choosing what, box 2. Okay, what you need to find, you need to find probability that drawn ball is, drawn ball, drawn ball is red. You want to perform this event, correct? So you will be saying means I need to get, so here you write one more box. Okay, the better way I'll tell you, here drawn ball required what, red, drawn ball is red, correct. So you'll be saying okay, it is equal to probability of e1 into probability of the event through e1. Through e1 means what, e1 is what, that tossing coin and turns head, e2 is what, tossing coin and turns tail. So through even you will take, you will go in event E, means you will select, you will go for to perform the event E to get the red ball through E1. Through E1 means if you are getting head first event, and you will be you will be taking the red ball from the box 2 if you are getting the tail, means the two possibilities will be there, probability of E1, you are going through the path E1, probability of E1 into probability of E while E1 already occurred, or probability of you are going to draw the ball else from the second box. Second box means first you need to go through the E2 process, correct or not, path E2. So probability of E2 into probability of E when already E2 occurred. This is we are calling as probability of E. Okay, hope so very clear. So probability of E1 what means, it get the head 1 by 2. Probability of E, probability of E means you are finding the red ball. So here 3 red balls, 6 blue, total 9 to get the red ball, 3 by 9 to get a red ball, 3 by 9. Okay, plus probability of E2 is what, if you are, if it turns what, tail, then you will be saying what is the probability to get the tail, means path probability 1 by 2. And now draw the ball from where, box 2. So it is what, it will be red ball you are drawing, 5 red, so it will be 5 by 9, 5 by 9. So it 1 by 2, it is you are getting 3 by 18, and here 5 by 18, so we are getting 8 by 18, so we got 4 by 9. This is the answer. Okay, again we'll see here what you need to identify, what are the events E1 and E2. So how you will get that which is even event and which is E2 event. So through which path the events are happening, means you are saying through when you are getting head on tossing, then you are performing the event, or when you are getting the tail, then you are performing the event. So meaning what, path is even and into that getting head or tail. So that through the path even we need to write the probability. Okay, first path probability into probability of the event through even, means already even occurred. It is what, path probability into through the path probability of the event plus, now next one or case is there, means second one, path probability, E2 path probability and event probability through E2. Okay, I hope so it is clear. Just you write the probabilities, make the sum, you'll get the total probability here. Okay, we'll see the next. Okay, so next question, A goes from home to office using train, bus or auto with respective probabilities 0.3, 0.5, 0.2. If he used train, then probability that he will be late is 0.2, and the corresponding probabilities, means if he is using what, bus or auto, then he will be late, that probability is given 0.7, 0.2. Question asking, then find probability that he reaches in time, means he should not reach late, correct, he reaches in time, that probability required. But if you see, then the terms are given in the form of probabilities given that he reaches late. So you think like, if we are finding that what is the probability that he reaches late, correct, probability that he reaches late, so 1 minus probability of he reaches late will be probability that he will be reaching in time, correct. So solution will start like this one, probability what, probability will find that he reaches late, probability he reaches, A reaches late. Okay, so it means we are saying P of E, this is okay, P of E. Okay, that is the event that he reaches late. Later on you know that what we are going to do, because it is probability that he reaches late, we need probability that he reaches in time, so 1 minus probability of E will be our answer. Okay, so idea is clear, hope so. What he is doing, he is using some path. Okay, see, question is saying that he goes, he will use, like these are the paths we can say, he will use the train, that probability is like even event, even event, that is given 0.3. Okay, he is using train. And second one what, he will be using, like let's say it is a event you can say, or it is some just name giving here ABC. Okay, boxes. Okay, ABC. So here he will be using the bus, that probability is 0.5, probability of E2 you can say 0.5, and this one, the next one, it is probability of E3 given, means he is using auto. Okay, that probability is given E3, probability of E3 given, that what, 0.2 given. Okay, hope so this is clear. Now what you want to perform, you want to perform the event. Okay, you want to perform the event that he reaches late, correct or not, he reaches late. So now you will say, if he'll use path even, then what is the probability that he'll be reaching late, means through even. So probability of E when already even occurred, meaning what, probability of E, probability of reaching late when he used what, path even, means when he used auto. So first of all, to take the auto, that is the probability 3. Now he is reaching late through the auto, that probability is given what, 0.2. It is, sorry, first train given here, train, okay, train given 0.2, it is 0.2. Similarly here through the path E2 event probability is what, 0.7, means he'll be using bus and he'll be reaching late through path E3, that probability given 0.2. Hope so, very clear. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to add all these probability, path probability into event probability through the path plus path probability into event probability through the path plus path probability into event probability through the path. So it is what, P of E1 means probability that he is using the train into probability that he reaches late through train, correct, means E when E1 occurred, plus similarly probability of E2 into probability of E when already E2 occurred, plus probability of E3 into probability of E when already, or probability of E through path E3. You'll be saying just will multiply all these things. So 0 into 3, 0 into 2, okay, 0.06 plus 0 into 5, 0 into 7, 0.35 plus 0.2 into 0.2, 0.04, 0.04. Will add all these, okay. So you'll be getting 5 4 this one 6 4 10, here 5, okay, and 3 1 4, 0.45. okay. So what is this one? It is probability that he reaches late, but so probability that he reaches in time. So probability that A reaches in time equal to 1 minus 0 point probability of E, we can say 1 minus 0.45, 1 minus 0.45. So we'll get what, 0.55 as answer. Dear student, in the next video we'll see the Bayes theorem. Okay, Bayes theorem we'll see in the next lecture. So I hope so you understood this one. Again I am telling what it says, some events occurring, through the events one event will be performed. Okay, they will say, now say the event probability, one event will be performed through the event. Like here what, he is going, he want to reach in office in time, correct or not, in time. So he reaches, so by the way, question here given what, that he is reaching late through the bus, that probability given. So first of all, path probability means he is taking bus, what is the probability of that one, into he is reaching late through bus or through train, that probability, plus next path probability and event probability through the path, plus next path probability event into event probability through the path. Okay, you need to make the sum of this one and you'll get the answer. Hope so understood. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.